President Trump's trade war leaving organizers of next year's World Cup in a pretty interesting place, given the tournament is being jointly hosted by the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Lasry was just named CEO of the New York, New Jersey Organizing Committee. He joins me here at Post 9. Welcome. It's good to have you.
Thanks so much for having me.
Especially on a day like today. This is pretty interesting for you. How are you thinking about this?
I mean, look, my job as the CEO of the New York, New Jersey World Cup Host Committee is to make sure that I'm able to help put on a once-in-a-generation and really once-in-a-lifetime event. We haven't had the World Cup in the New York, New Jersey region and in the United States in 30 years. And so this is going to be an event that's going to have billions of dollars of economic impact to the region, create thousands of jobs, and one that I think is going to be really special for the United States of America.
It's a long way off, obviously. You've been around the political game for a bit in your life. You know how quickly things can change, obviously. Do you think it matters whether these three nations get along to host a great event?
I think one thing that's really great about sports is it's such a uniting factor. I mean, I think when you look at, politics that goes around all over the world, no matter what, the Olympics still get played. And I think when you're looking at the World Cup, no matter what, we're going to make sure that that the World Cup is going to be played and that it's going to be an incredible event. And the fact that we get to do this all across North America and Canada is, I think, going to make this not just the most special World Cup, but I think the biggest World Cup that's ever been played.
Have the final here in New York, New Jersey area, obviously, and a bunch of other games. What's the most important thing that has to happen for you to pull off a great event?
We got to make sure that we kind of handle the basics, right? So the games inside MetLife Stadium are going to be fantastic. What we have to make sure is that people are able to get to the games in a good and reasonable amount of time and make sure that it's safe and secure. We want to make sure that every fan has an incredible experience. And so our number one job and goal is to make sure that the fan experience is the top priority, and then to make sure that, the city and state and both states benefit from the economic impact that's going to take place.
I've read some news articles that would suggest there's a long way to go for this country in general, not necessarily this area, from an infrastructure standpoint, that we're not ready, per se, to host the World Cup final, which, as you said, is bigger than it's ever been. Look, how would you answer that?
I wouldn't say that we're not ready. I mean, we're putting all of the infrastructure and steps in place. We've got great partnerships with the state of New Jersey, the state of New York, and the city of New York, not to mention with FIFA also. I've been meeting with elected leaders, city officials, and FIFA to make sure that this is, that we're going to put on an incredible games. And I think this is going to be the biggest and most successful World Cup ever. And the fact that we have the finals is a big deal. And we were given the finals for a reason, because this is New York, New Jersey.
How are you thinking about the kind of economic impact that all of this is going to have, not only on this area, but as you think of just the collective tournament itself for other cities, too?
Yeah, I mean, the economic impact is going to be massive. I mean, you're going to have millions of people, especially coming to the New York, New Jersey area, where a vast majority are never going to step foot into MetLife Stadium. So they're going to be celebrating with their fellow countrymen, with Americans, and with the city and states, and going to restaurants, bars, staying in hotels. The economic impact of this is going to be massive, and I don't think we fully understand the scope of this yet. And that's going to be our job to help make sure that everyone really understands how big of an event that this is going to be.
When do you actually start, ramping up your efforts to get spectators engaged, fans in this area? You go around New York City anytime there's a soccer game on, and it's obviously crowded in certain sections and bars of the city, but at what point do you really start to engage with people?
So we're starting that now. I mean, we just announced this Sonic ID today, but I think the 1 year out in June is going to be the real moment where we really press play and we start to really engage New York, New Jersey, and the fans, and start to really let everyone know the World Cup's going to be here in a year, and it's time that everyone starts to pay attention and starts to really feel the impact.
How much does it matter whether the U.S. team does well or not? It seems obviously undergone some changes in its own right.
I mean, I have all the confidence in the world that the U.S. fans are going to help make sure that the U.S. team goes very far in this tournament. But this is a global sport, and I think what we're looking for from this World Cup is to engage the international fan base. And I think when you're looking at how do we grow soccer more, that's making sure that we start to make soccer one of America's big sports.